make it back.
Salutations and folks. Welcome back to another fucking episode of Travel and Shit, your new favorite travel podcast, where I, your host, D. Carrie, have an experiential conversation about the nuanced ways that travel intersects with regular life. So, welcome back if you've been here before, and just welcome the fuck fresh off if you're new. That's what we do here. So, this week, I am very pleased to announce an extra special guest. And this one is an extra special one for, I guess you could say, like two reasons, but also because it's kind of like first part of a two-part. So I am embarking on yet another road trip next weekend. So after this episode, I'm hoping to have some new information that I can actively put into use and then report back and see how the fuck it worked out for me, right? So guest happens to be my little cousin. Oh, hi, baby. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. And who you is, what you do. Like, you know, you're not just fine and my cousin, and that's why I wanted you here, but like, you know, you useful and know some things. So please introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Trey. I currently work in the hotel industry in upper management. So definitely look forward to giving you guys some insight on current hotel life, and I guess how things have changed in the hotel industry, and maybe why some things have changed for those reasons.
So how long have you been in hospitality, and like what different positions have you had?
So I started in hospitality 2013. So I guess that's 8 years now.
Okay.
And I've done everything from being a guest service agent to being front office manager to director of front office to sales manager, and being in management. That kind of encompasses a little wearing all the hats from, you know, opening up housekeeping, getting the housekeeping started for the day, to wearing an engineering hat and, you know, fixing TVs and toilets and, you know, flipping breakers and fixing elevators and stuff. So, you know, where being, you know, in the hospitality industry, you don't really ever wear just one hat. You know, you kind of go where, you know, the hotel needs at the time. Yes, you might be, you know, the captain of one department, but, you know, if all the housekeepers call out one day, then, well, you know, dress down and, you know, be ready to clean some rooms.
Right, figure it out.
Yeah, because the hotel doesn't stop. So, you know, you, like I said, you get a lot of experience, you know, not only with what you're capable of, but, you know, what other people are capable of as well.
It's funny that you say this. So I'll start with, first of all, I take customer service very, I won't say seriously, but I don't take it lightly, right? Every job that I've ever had has had some aspect of customer service. Right. And customer service, sadly, also happens to be where I learned that people ain't shit.
Yeah.
I will never forget probably one of the worst customer service experiences I had was working in the fitting room, and shorty came in wrong. Like, she just came in wrong and strong, real nasty. And she had like 3 or 4 little kids with her, like small kids, and like a huge stroller. And I miss fucking congeniality, right? Good afternoon. How you doing? You know, I'm going to open, like, in my mind, I'm like, all right, so I see you have a stroller. Logic. Let me give you the handicap room so you can bring all them kids in there with you. Like, you're not going to just leave the kids outside, and then why would you change with the door wide open, right?
Right.
So I already know what the hell I'm going to do to make sure that this moves slowly for her. I mean, you know, moves smoothly for her. Bitch don't even acknowledge that I'm fucking there. She don't look at me. She don't give me eye contact. She don't even gloss past me. She completely ignores me and just walks past me and into the fitting room. So I said, okay, bitch, do your thing. See how this works out. Because the doors are all locked.
Uh-huh.
You ain't going to get into nothing. So you're going to need me. Or you just decide you don't want to try anything on. So she goes all the way to the end. And there's like maybe 1 door or 2 doors that aren't closed because they're holding, like, there's fixtures from the floor. So it's just like, what are you going to do? So she realizes she's got nowhere to change her clothes. I need to get in the room oh yeah, I know you do. What else would you be here for, right? So I'm like, well, if you would have, just paused, I'm going to let you in the handicap room that's locked. So here, go in there. Anyway, she goes in there. She tries a little clothes on. Pet peeve, don't leave your shit in the fitting room. Also, put it back on the fucking hanger. Turn it right side. I don't want to put my hand into the pair of pants that you just had your ass in. You know what I mean? Like, courtesy. You know what I mean? Fucking courtesy. People are so fucking gross. This bitch, and a bitch she was, I don't even feel bad about that shit. This bitch left a dirty diaper in my fitting room. I know who was not touching that. Proceeded to follow the end. Of course, all her clothes all over the floor, t-shirts inside out, pants inside, like, skirts inside out. Sure enough, went back on that floor. You left stuff in the room. You can come back and come get your shit. So she came back in there, took a diaper out and was like, do you have a trash can? Yeah, in the fucking bathroom where they belong. You're not leaving a dirty diaper in my trash can in here. Take it to the bathroom. Take it to the fucking bathroom. She ain't never going to see this. But I want her to know that I'm still pissed off about that. And it's probably a solid 20 years, if not, it's probably longer than 20 years at this point. And I still hold that animosity in my heart towards her. But anyway, so customer service. I know how to provide good customer service. So I expect that if I am to have a good customer experience, that I'm going to be, extended that courtesy as well. For someone to just be polite, someone to acknowledge that I am here and acknowledge that I am spending money with, an industry. That being said, what have your experiences been in terms of, because customer ain't always, they're not always right. However, I know that a lot of different industries kind of put that belief forward. They expect their employees to, go into it with that. Before we get into the what should we know, what have you learned in the process and all that jazz, I want to know who is your who's on your heart? Who do you still carry? Like, what is one of those experiences where niggas done had you fucked up? Like, where I want to know, give me the tea. Like, who I want to know of a really like shit experience, and then like a really good experience that saved your faith in humanity.
Okay, so funny, true story. I had just started at a brand new hotel. I was an intern, and I just happened, I was doing a 3-week rotation. So I was starting at the desk, and I got there around 7 a.m. and relieved the night auditor, but the person that was supposed to be training me was late. And I had been there about a week or so. So I kind of knew what I was, doing, but, I still was, an intern. And so maybe about 30 minutes goes by and, morning, and we're the newest hotel in our area. But what we know is that there is another sister property in downtown, and people had started getting us mixed up with our sister property in downtown because at the time they were the only one in the area. So I look up, and this lady, I swear, dressed head to toe, straight Medea. Like, I'm talking hair bonnet, muumuu, flip flops, like, curlers in her bonnet, like just straight Medea walked in here. And, you greet her, good morning, how can I help you? And she said, well, I'm here to check in. And I was just like, okay, well, what's your last name? And so let's just say Johnson. Let's just say her last name was Johnson. I said, well, Ms. Johnson, unfortunately, I can't find your reservation. Do you have a confirmation number? From the bat, she just starts screaming at me, no, I called this hotel and I told them I was coming here early and they said that they were going to have my room ready for me. I said, okay, Ms. Johnson, I'm so sorry, but to be fair, I've been here since 7 o'clock. No one's called the hotel. Are you sure you're at the right location? You booked at the right location? Because, people get us mixed up with the hotel in downtown because we're brand new. And she's like, no, I called this hotel and this and that. I was like, okay, well, do you have your confirmation email? And like, okay, maybe this will help me get her confirmation number. I can look her up in the system. Maybe it was made for the wrong date, et cetera, et cetera. And so she actually had it printed out.
Okay, nice.
And so she shoves it in my face, and I'm just like, I take it from her, and I immediately
you knew what it was.
I knew exactly what the issue was, and I was ready. Okay, I was so ready, because she starts just going off. Because what people don't realize is that the breakfast area is right next to the desk, so people are eating breakfast, looking at this lady tear me a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And so she goes, I called this phone number right here, and I was just like, okay, well, ma'am, that's not our phone number. And she goes, well, I put this address in. I said, well, ma'am, that's not our address. And so she goes, oh, so now you're calling me a liar? I said, no. I said, ma'am, no, I'm not. I'm just letting you know that that's not our phone number address. So then she goes, I'm going to call it. And I said, okay.
Please.
Okay. I said, okay. All right, let's do this. Do you want to do this? Let's do this. Go ahead.
Try to save her.
That is your prerogative. So this time, at this point, her husband has come in trying to figure out what's taking so long. Mm-hmm. And so I'm trying to explain to the husband now that, this is not.
Yeah, you're in the wrong place.
And so she puts it on speakerphone. The guy answers the phone, and he goes, thank you for calling. Da, da, da. This is, let's just say his name is Zach. Zach, how can I help you? And she goes, well, I'm standing in your lobby, and your agent refusing to check me. And he's like, I called and told him I was coming in early. On speakerphone. Everybody, at this point, it's like moving a show to people eating breakfast. Man, there's no one standing in my lobby.
Thank you, Zach, for reiterating my point. But
I said, oh God, okay. I said, good. So I said, ma'am, remember when I asked you if you were at the right property? And she said, yeah. And I pointed right to the bottom of the page. I was just like, this is the hotel that you booked at. This is not us. Right. And I handed her a business card to show that she was at the wrong hotel. She didn't even say sorry. She rolled her eyes and stormed out. And I was just like,
you're bad. I mean,
you big man. I mean, there's like, at this point, people are still eating breakfast. I got a line of people waiting to check out. Like,
and you was the whole fresh.
Just not even an hour into my shift. But no, I mean, you every now and then you have those guests that, mm-hmm. think that, they're always right. And, if I'm training somebody, you always tell them, if you get enough information to where that you've done nothing wrong and that the hotel's done nothing wrong, and this guest is just going full throttle, there's no reason to, for you and the guests to get bent out of sorts out of each other. Because one thing that my manager always taught me, I will never forget this, is that just because you don't think anyone's watching does not mean that no one's watching. Somebody's always watching. And I was like, the last thing that we need is for you to be on camera losing your mind mm-hmm. on a guest.
Right.
When the guest is 100% wrong. Mm-hmm. And so, you just have, those guests, and, you're going to have them, your entitled guests, you're going to have your simple guests. Mm-hmm. I will never forget the day that it was extremely hot outside. It was maybe 98 degrees plus humidity.
Where, let people know where you live. I know where you live, but
I'm in Charlotte.
Okay.
I'm in North Carolina. And
your experience is for the most part down south. It's in North Carolina in general.
Yes. Okay. Yes, it's down south. And I had a cup of water inside. We had this infused water station.
Okay.
And so I was drinking some of the water, but it had gotten warm and I didn't want it anymore. So I was just like, instead of me throwing water into this trash bin, I'm going to throw it outside. And so me not paying attention, I walk out and I throw it. And then something made me stop. And I just turned a little bit to my right. And I see a pair of shoes. I'm just like, oh my God. And I look up and there is this guest covered in the water that I just threw. And I was just like,
you fucked that one up, cuz
I'm going to get fired. This guest is going to eat me for lunch. I just.
That's like movie shit. You don't think that stuff like that happens to regular people, and there's a regular people.
And if I could have just drilled my way to China that day, I would have done it.
So what happened?
Just sat there. And so I looked at me. I just started apologizing. I was just like, I don't know what you're paying for your room, how long you're going to be with us. I just know you're not going to pay for anything. I go into service recovery mode. And so luckily this guest just starts laughing and he goes, I don't think you understand how hot as hell I was.
Okay. So silver lining.
He's like, you are totally fine. Thanks for the cool off. He goes, I now have a story that, I could take home, but, you were very apologetic and, and things like that. And, luckily he gave us a good review and everything like that. And
oh God.
So I was just like, okay, so not everybody is,
Mm-hmm. So what has been your favorite station or favorite position working in hospitality? Like, what have you enjoyed the most and why?
So I would definitely say being at the desk, being at the front desk, just because, you get to really interact, with people, working and, housekeeping, or sometimes in sales. Yeah, you get to interact with people in sales, but it's not, on the same level that you do with, with just greeting the guests, getting them checked in, figuring out why they're here, being able to make them smile if they're there for, an anniversary, send an amenity or a birthday, give them an upgrade. My favorite one is when, they're bringing like, the kids down, they're going to Carowinds for the birthday or something like that. And you're just like, what, just for your birthday, you get, this, and this, or you get to pick something out from the treat shop or,
Aww.
And, you get those little touch points, to make someone smile. And because you might not get to do that every day.
Yeah.
Every now and then, you get to really, really touch someone's heart. And in a way that, you might not have even thought possible.
Mm-hmm. Is that something that people do regularly? I know I just discovered I've said it before, but Facebook groups have been such a resource for just like little tidbits of information or whatever. I don't remember which group it was, but a woman was saying that, I don't know if you've ever seen like where they do, like they start a thread, if you will. What do you call it? I'm trying to think of what it was called. Oh, front desk staff. When the front desk, like every once in a while, like the girls will make like a special request. Like one was like a joke. Like I would want like a photo of a woman on a unicorn, and I want it to be like, just like leave like a funny saying. Like they make like really cutesy requests of the front desk staff. And I've considered like, dang, I've never done that. Like I've kind of like wanted to be like, oh, I'm traveling with my boyfriend and this is like an anniversary trip. So could you, leave like flowers in the room? And in my mind, there's like, I know that there are some establishments that offer that like as a menu on like their website, things that you can add to the room, like champagne or, certain kind of like room service things. But is that like a standard practice? And then of course the thread went on to say like all of the really cute things. Like one person was like, my husband hates John Stamos. Can you print out like a couple of different pictures of John Stamos and leave it around the hotel room or something like that? And so they were saying, and then a lot of the front desk, a lot of women that were, front desk staff said like, we fucking love those kinds of requests. As long as you're not going like doing the most and like asking for, stuff that we're not able to do or things that are really expensive. If it's something cute and it's something that we can kind of pull together on our own and, we enjoy doing stuff like that. What kind of things do hotels like offer that the common, like a regular person may not know?
So a lot of hotels, it really depends on actually where you're going. Like, for example, a limited service hotel is not going to be able to offer the same thing that a full service hotel will. They'll try, absolutely, they will try, and but a lot of stuff I would say, take that into consideration. If you're going to a Fairfield, don't expect, them to be able to offer a, lit candlelight pathway into your room with, rose petals and, this, that, and the third, versus, a full service, Hyatt that, might have those, ready to go on the drop of a hat. So like, for example, like a Fairfield might be able to leave like a cute amenity basket inside your room for your anniversary. It might contain like maybe one of those small wines and, maybe like, some like some Hershey chocolate bars, things like that, or, some ice cream, whatever in the refrigerator. So they might be able to do something more along those lines. So I just say, just keep it in mind to where you're going. That would be the best piece of advice. Now, like I said, if you're looking for something romantic, I would say if you really, really want it, I would say do a full service and pay for it. Like that would be the best thing to lock it in, because when you put a request in there, or if you put it in the comments, it doesn't always necessarily mean that someone's going to see it, or B, it's going to be done. So like, for example, let's just say that you want, I don't know.
Okay, I have a request. So I'm staying at my first 5-star hotel. A bitch is excited. Okay. Yeah. Next week, we're going to Hartford to see my little cousin perform. So I felt like, all right, well, let's just make a trip of it. I've never been out of the car in Connecticut. Like, I'm certain I've driven through Connecticut, probably stopped at like rest station and done like Roy Rogers kind of thing. But I've never gone to Connecticut to do anything that I can remember ever in my life. So I'm really excited to go. And we're staying at a 5-star hotel. I'll leave it a surprise. Well, I'll tell you after, but I'll tell y'all next week. But I'm staying at 5-star. Really fucking excited. Also, bitch got a suite. So yeah, I was feeling luxury. Also, cheat code. It's a lot easier to kind of have these kinds of experiences when you do it in a market that isn't going to cost as much. So staying in a suite in New York City is at a 5-star hotel in New York City is not economically feasible for me. I ain't got it. Staying in a 200 square foot basic ass room in New York City can still be a stretch. I know, because I looked and basic rooms were what I'm paying for a suite in this 5-star hotel. And that was not at a 5-star hotel in New York. So my point is, you can have a luxury experience for maybe a basic cost in a different market, depending on where the fuck you're staying. So I'm really excited about the hotel. And one request that I would make would be for fresh flowers. Like, I really want some fresh flowers in the room. I don't know if that is a reasonable or an unreasonable request. I know that I'm willing to tip pretty well for that, but in my mind, I don't even know what like a fair ask would be. Like, I feel like if you're a hotel, you're going to have flowers and arrangements someplace in there. Even if you move it from a conference room and put it in my room until I leave, I don't give a fuck. They're going to be there when I leave. I'm staying one night. I feel like that should, in my mind, I feel like maybe it's reasonable request, but then also I feel like y'all got so much stuff going on. Like, I don't ever want to feel like a burden more than ever. What is reasonable in your experience of a request that you're going to ask? And then also, like, when you say know where you're staying, can you give a rundown of the different types of properties? Like, not like different brands or stuff, but what is that base of hotel? Stars? What is the star system? And then I guess start there. What's the star system? And then knowing like what is a fair expectation of a property that you're going, and how to know that it's going to be a fair expectation.
Gotcha. Okay, so your star properties are earned. So it's, it's also based on the amenities that you offer. So your Waldorf Astorias, your Ritz-Carltons, they're going to be your 5-star, you can be a Conrad and be a 5-star. You could be LXR is a new brand that could be a 5-star. It really all depends on the amenities that this hotel, can offer, valet, bell, 24-hour room service.
That's my personal favorite one.
Down to even shoe shine and in-house laundry, Turndown Service,
What's Turndown Service?
So Turndown Service is normally a service done in the afternoon to where they can come around with, a little cart. It's got some snacks on it. And they can also go into your room and, pull the bed back and crease it. Sometimes they do leave like little mints and stuff on the pillow that might take that time to do a refresh of the room. Maybe if their lights do dim, they'll dim the lights for you. So if they offer
not housekeeping, but like it's separate from housekeeping.
Now, housekeeping is in normally the department that does it.
Okay.
But it's not a full clean of your room. It's just something so you can turn down for the day. It's something to kind of let you relax. Like if I can give an example, the Foundry in Asheville is a curio collection by Hilton, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Their turn down service was they came by with, these little dry bread. I forget the name of
like a scone or a biscuit or something,
like biscuit, and then they had thermoses of tea to go with them. And so that was their version of a turn down service. It's like, hey, you're turning in for the night. Here's some chamomile tea and a biscuit to help you, relax. So it all varies. I would say as far as service requests go, nothing. Flowers is not outrageous. Expecting fresh flowers every single day of your stay might be a little bit of a stretch. I would say look at the market that you're going to. I would say look at the pictures that you see online. If you do not see fresh flowers in the pictures, I probably would say don't ask for them. Another way to even ask is to simply call the hotel. But don't say you're going to ask for fresh flowers every day, but say, hey, do you guys have fresh flowers around your hotel? I want to go somewhere to relax. And, I really, really love, fresh flowers. And if they say, yeah, we've got them, in the lobby or in the breakfast area or in the restaurant, at the bar, you say, okay, cool. And so then when you do put your request in, you can be like, hey, I would love some of the fresh flowers from the bar in my room. That is a simple request that the hotel can offer. And just like, okay, we'll take a vase from here, throw it in her room. And then if you would like housekeeping every day, they can just take a look. Oh, the flower's still good. Okay, cool. The flowers are still good. They don't need to change out, or no, something happened. They died overnight. We need to,
right.
Flowers. And so I would say, does a service vary from property to property? Absolutely. There are going to be some properties where certain managements can, say, yeah, let's make this happen. We can spend the cash on this, and this. And then there are other, hotel companies that might be a little more strapped for cash. And you're just like, okay, well, we might not be able to do this. I mean, we've had requests come through that, say, I want $1 million in my room, and we print out a piece of paper that says $1 million and put it on the bed. And like, and then, you've had other requests that, are just like, hey, like something my supervisor did, and it was great. He arranged with the fiance, because it was they were getting married, but it was their 3-year anniversary, I think. And they he sent everything forward, and he decorated the room. There was a heart flower petal arrangement on the bed. There were balloons in the room, things like that. Yeah, we can still, do that. but we also tell people too, also, take it with a grain of salt. You say, fresh flowers in your room. If they put a nice single rose in your room, don't go storming down to the front desk and say, I want a whole flower arrangement.
Yeah. Now, who would you tip? Do you tip in the room? Do you tip the front desk? Like who?
To be honest, the front desk might not even know who did it. They might be able to know the department that did it, but I would not leave that tip in the room because the person that's cleaning your room might think it's a tip for them. Right. The best thing to do would be to leave it in an envelope at the front desk and instruct the front desk to get it to the person that set up the arrangement for you or who set up your amenity for you.
Okay.
And then, because most of the time, the front desk will be able to contact the department that's in charge of it and be like, hey, whoever did this is, please give.
Also, where would you make that request other than calling the hotel? And then also, like, for example, I booked my hotel through Expedia. Okay. So in fairness to the property that I'm staying at, like I'm pretty certain that their bookings from Expedia, from Priceline, from, just their direct website, it's possible that they don't all funnel into the same area, or I don't know how that's handled. And I'm sure that it could be different for different places, but how would you suggest somebody figure out how to make a request like that?
So I would say you can make it through Expedia. Expedia is a third-party company. So even if you were to type it into the comments, they try to overload the hotel with information. It might get missed. My best thing, if you're going to need a request through a third party, would be to call the hotel directly and see if they can find your reservation and add the note themselves.
Okay.
Versus making it through Expedia. A lot of stuff we tell people all the time, is it better to book directly through the hotel? Absolutely. Booking through the hotel gives the hotel a little bit more leeway and a little more control over your reservation. Because, like, for example, if you need to cancel your reservation, we would tell you, unfortunately, you would need to call Expedia.
Right. Of course.
Book it through Expedia. Expedia booked it on your behalf. That also leaves Expedia up to not putting in the room type that you booked. We tell guests all the time, unfortunately, there is a lag to where Expedia's inventory of our hotel syncs with the actual inventory of the hotel. So there's been times to where we've been sold out and Expedia hasn't updated its system yet, but that's showing that we're sold out, and guests show up at the hotel with the confirmation from Expedia, but we don't have the reservation because we don't have rooms. And so we tell them, listen, unfortunately, you're going to have to contact Expedia, Priceline, or whoever you did it through. So like I said, if you're going to make a request like that, I would definitely call the hotel directly. Definitely have them locate your reservation. And add the note themselves.
Okay.
And get the person's name and at least try to make that person your point of contact. Just if you're going to follow up with it, just, hey, let's just say is Brandon there? Or is Zach there? Can I talk to Zach? I'm just following up on a request that he was working on for me, and he knows exactly kind of what I'm talking about. Now, also don't be that person that calls every 3 hours looking for Zach. But that would also be the best way to know, what they can do. The hotel will also be able to send you an amenity form. If you are looking for something, complimentary, it would be better to know that the hotel offers it.
Okay.
So, for example, I've been at hotels that do offer a romance package, that, do offer, bed and breakfast packages. And, there's even one that had a football package to where it came with like 3 beers and, burgers and, things like that in your room.
Cute.
So, I would say.
Is that often listed on like their website? Is that
something? Can be. Okay. It can be under food and beverage, under the food and beverage tab, if it's an option. A lot of hotels actually have pulled them just because they like to be able to amend them. And sometimes if they amend them, it doesn't always make it up to the website. So what I always tell my friends and family, if you're going to request for some special accommodations, like if you want champagne in your room, you know, call the hotel, see if what kind even that they have.
Yeah.
But like I said, like if you're going to a Fairfield or a Hampton Inn, you know, they'll do their best to try to get you the champagne in your room and, you know, the rose petals and the candles and, you know, things like that. And if they're able to do it, they will. Absolutely. But if you get there and, you know, it's not done, then, you know, you also have to take it, like I said, with a grain of salt. It's just like, okay, they might not have been able to get to it.
Got it.
So.
Okay. So when you mentioned stars, so we know that it goes by amenities. What is the story with stars that like lower star properties? How would you suggest somebody kind of suss out whether or not the star is going to be based on what of course, price matters. Stay in your budget. Like if you can only afford $150 a night and that happens to be a 2-star hotel in the location you're in, or it could also be a 5-star hotel that, you know, in the destination. But in terms of stars, what are we really looking for if it comes down to making your decision?
So to be honest, I don't look at stars when I book a reservation. I tend to look at the property itself and, you know, if it's upkept. Like, for example, you know, I'm personally not a Motel 6 fan. However, if you ever follow Motel 6, they've completely rebranded their and refreshed their brand new hotels. So if you ever search for a brand new Motel 6, you're walking there and you're just like, I cannot believe this is a Motel 6. And because it completely demolishes, you know, what your thought process is of a Motel 6. You know, you've got so I would say even with your lower end hotels, you know, they're not all bad. You know, if it's within your budget and you can, you know, if you don't need much, like if you're just looking for a nice place to crash and rest your head for the night, you know, like I said, do your research. You know, the definite, you know, places that you're just like, I don't care how cheap that room is. I'm not sleeping there. I will sleep in my car before I step foot in that room. And you know, those places that are just like, I will sleep in my car because I cannot afford this room. So, so, you know, it's where it is. And, you know, to be honest, like, you know, like I said, you even have, even Star doesn't even designate price. Like, for example, you're out in the middle of nowhere hotels are like, for example, let's just take a Town Place Suites in the middle of a town that no one ever knows about, but just happens to be on the side of the highway. So it's a good location. You know, their room could be $99 a night. Let's just say that. But you go to, you know, like you said, you go to downtown Denver, same product, but totally different location. You know, this Town Place might have valet because there's no parking in downtown. You know, they might charge for parking because there's no parking in downtown. So, but is it going to up their star? Probably not, but because of the brand itself. So, you know, it's definitely different in, you know, kind of what you're comfortable with. Like, you know, your nicer renovated hotels are probably going to cost more than your non-renovated hotels. So a lot of people will call and be like, oh, well, how old is your property? You know, when was the last time it had a renovation?
Okay.
And, you know, just because, you know, certain people just feel more comfortable in an updated, more environment. And, you know, and like I said, you know, we don't knock them for it. You know, it is what it is. You know, I've been in hotels that haven't been, worked in hotels that haven't been updated for 10, 15 years. And, but like I said, but the flip side of that coin is, you know, people leave bad reviews when they stay in non-renovated hotels.
Okay.
Like, oh, this hotel needs to be renovated. This is 1980s furniture and this, that, and the third. And so, you know, ownership sees all those reviews and then they renovate because they're getting bad reviews, but then people get mad that they're under renovation.
Got it.
And you still get bad reviews. And so it's like a lose-lose situation. lose-lose situation there. I would say the one amenity that I will never ever book in my life or ever use in my life is a hotel room that has a jetted tub in it. I will never ever use it. I no, I would never book it. I would never use it. I was like, you all can get in it. I'm not getting in it.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's not knocking housekeeping for not cleaning it, you know, properly. But my thought process is you have to, people that do have people come out and service them. And, you know, get in those grooves and things like that. And, you know, I just don't trust that they did it. Could they have done it? Absolutely.
Right.
Could they have taken the time to do it? Absolutely. I don't know that they've done it.
Yeah.
But because I didn't do it. The hotel I'm at now actually has no tubs in it. We have only stand-up showers in all of our guest rooms. And a lot of hotels are moving towards that. A hotel I used to work at only had stand-up showers and its king rooms and tubs in the double queens.
Yeah, that makes sense, because then I was going to say, well, what about with families? You know, it's really hard to bathe a 3-year-old in a stand-up shower. You know what I mean? So is for a hotel that does have that, is that something, I would assume that that's something you could ask for. Like, how do you accommodate children that are staying? You know what I mean? Like families that come, like what do people ask for to help?
So, you know, and to be honest, like, you know, we've been shocked. We haven't gotten really any kickback from it because our showers come with not only the Rainfall shower head, but it comes with a shower wand.
I don't trust showers that don't have a shower wand, because I'm like, how you clean over there?
Oh yeah, no, because they have, our housekeepers have the special.
Oh, there's a special thing.
Yeah, there's like special products and stuff that you do. Yeah, it's severe. And especially with COVID again.
Because that's my next question, but keep going.
But no, the shower is so big, and with the Rainfall shower head, that we're assuming that just no one's had any issues, you know.
And I low-key, sorry to interrupt you again, I low-key hate Rainfall shower heads, only because I feel like they are absolutely only marketed for white folks. Like when I had hair, fuck the shower, fuck that shit. I don't want my hair wet. You know what I mean? So that's a really frustrating thing. I feel like it's a cultural insensitivity for a lot of places that is like the only option, because not everybody gets their hair wet. You know what I mean? So I know when I had hair, I used to hate being places that had those, because now I'm pulling some matrix shit and straining my neck so that you know what I mean? So I feel like I can't enjoy my shower the way I want to enjoy my shower. Now that I don't have hair, it's not a problem for me, but it just sucks for people that is a problem for. You know what I mean? Like that's always my personal pet peeve. But I also have always wondered, how the fuck do they clean the wall over here when the shower is fixed in this location? Like, how you get the water over here?
So our housekeepers have wand extensions to do the walls.
But how do you get it wet if the shower head doesn't reach the other side? Because I've been in properties where, for example, like the shower is maybe like 5 feet long, right? But the shower head is fixed on the wall. So regardless of how, like if it's like on the wall like this, regardless of how you stretch it like this, it's not going to hit the wall behind it. So how are you getting water on that wall to clean the shower? I've always been like real weary of that.
Gotcha. So think of it like the cleaning products that we have don't need water.
Okay.
And so think of it like, you know how you have like the scrubbing bubbles to where, you know, they spray it, it turns white, and you just wipe it away and it's done. It's not that, but it's in the similar sense. You don't need water for it to be clean, disinfected, and things like that. It's still very powerful stuff, and you know, a very trust me, you'll know that someone's been in there just because you'll smell it. So, but you know, they don't need water for that disinfectant and for that cleaning product to activate and to
Okay.
work. No, they with those rainfall shower heads, like a lot of like you'll probably notice when you stay at your 5-star, we'll have a little container and probably on the vanity area. And when you open the container, it'll have a little more amenities inside. It'll have cotton balls, Q-tips, makeup remover. Ours includes a shower cap for for those. And so you should see that somewhere placed in your room, depending on where you're staying.
I always keep the minis. I especially love the lotions because I'm not going to use your shampoo and conditioner. I mean, sometimes I take them like if they smell good, but otherwise it's just like, even when I wash my hair, like I'm not gonna put that in my hair. I don't know what's in it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I would have to look it up to see what's in it, kind of thing. But I'm trying not to just be wasteful and just like hoard stuff that I know I'm likely not going to use, especially since I'm not like going as many places. It's kind of like, when am I going to use this again? This shit's probably going to expire before I look at it one more time. But yeah, the last place we stayed at in Philly, I think they had like Jonathan Adler products. When I tell you that lotion smells so good, it smells so good. And it's the perfect little size. So I keep it in my little bag. So it's like, I keep my hands moisturized. I like it. But what are the housekeeping secrets? What gets clean? What doesn't get clean? What gets wiped down? Like, do the duvets get cut? I swear nobody cleans duvets. That's why I will never put a bare ass on anybody's hotel bed, because I don't think those get clean. Like, I feel like that's a weekly thing or a once a month, or you just change them out. I don't know how it works. Please let me know.
So all the hotels that I've worked at that have had duvets do take them and wash them after the checkout, but only after you check out. They do not switch them during your stay or service.
Fair.
Some hotels that I know people do work at, they change the covers.
Okay.
And not the duvets themselves, because depending on the brand of duvet, it could ruin the duvet itself if you wash it every single time someone checks out.
Of course, a down comforter you're not going to wash.
Right.
The best comforters were, where were we? We were in Vermont. I think we stayed, I don't know, I want to say it was a Marriott. It may have been a Marriott. I don't really remember, because I think we were only there like one night. Yeah, we were only there one night, but I loved those comforters. Like, I love a good goose down comforter, like the one or two. So it's just like, it lets air in, but like you're not extra hot. Fucking love them. All that high end shit. But I know you're not washing it.
Right. And so that's why, like, a lot of them will have full duvet covers on them. So sometimes they wash the insert every time. It really depends on the hotel that you're at. Basically, let me start. Actually, let me think. Hotels I worked at wash the duvets after you checked out.
Okay. So, but that's between every guest.
Yes, but between every guest.
Okay.
So we wash the duvets after every checkout. Nothing in the room didn't get washed. Like, if your body touched it, it probably got washed. And that's just more of a sanitation thing. I know a lot of, with the new products coming out as hotels are being built and, products are becoming more durable. I would say, a lot of it is being able to be washed more often. A lot of stuff can also only be bought in bulk. So, like, for example, if you ruin a duvet, if let's just say you have a 3-year-old, your 3-year-old pisses on the bed, they're going to obviously wash the duvet. But let's just say all of a sudden the duvet gets a hole in it.
Okay.
They obviously cannot use the duvet anymore. But they can't order this one more duvet. They might have to order like 50 duvets. But they don't need 50 duvets, just one. So, a lot of hotels might wait until they actually there's a need for the duvet in order to order it. But then again, that's also up to the management company. You know, if your management company can afford to buy 50 duvets because you ruined one, then they'll order 50 duvets because you ruined one.
Mm-hmm.
But you won't, unfortunately, that's something that the guests will never know. The guests, but just know that they are being cleaned. I stayed at one hotel to where they had a whole disinfecting process for the duvets. So then they wouldn't have to wash them. It was blue lights and, you know, the whole 9 yards of disinfecting before they put them back in the rooms, because they just couldn't afford to keep washing them and, you know, getting holes and, you know, things like that. So it just wasn't. The only time that hotel will probably ever really get rid of a duvet if there's a stain on it or something. They're not going to put that back on the bed.
See, I mean, something like that, I'm fine with. You know what I mean? Like, I would even like, for example, like what are they? What did I just say? The down comforters, right? I don't know if you can steam them. I feel like you should be able to steam them. Give it a good steam. You know what I mean? Give it a steam with some kind of disinfectant. I don't fucking know. Lysol. Do a Lysol steam. I feel like there's got to be a way that has been developed for that shit to be clean. But what about like surfaces, like the remote controls, light switches? You know what I mean? Like in my mind, though, like the high touch points, I would think obviously someone is going to clean. But what is like the standard procedure for like housekeeping to like what's going above and beyond, and then what's like don't expect that to be clean? Because like you're not shampooing the chairs every time. That's another reason why I don't like walking barefoot. You're not shampooing the carpets. You know what I mean? Like that's not getting cleaned. You're not shampooing the seats. So I'm not sitting. Again, I don't understand people that sit bare ass on like services that aren't in your house kind of thing. But
so I would say, like, for example, the hotel I'm at now. Yes. Like, for example, is there carpet in the room? Yes, but we have more of a rug.
Okay.
So like a newer hotels might be taking up the carpet. I was recently at an uptown property that completely renovated, and they actually took up all the carpet. There's no carpet in the hallways. There's no carpet in the guest rooms anymore. It's all hardwood floor. Because like you said, it's hard to keep clean. It's hard to clean. If you get a pipe burst, it's very hard to keep dry, to mildew. So I would say, do they vacuum the floors? Absolutely. Do they mop the floors? Absolutely. But as far as like, if you're someone with carpet, I mean, and you can even look at the carpet and you can tell, okay,
this has been here.
Been here for a couple.
As old as I am.
And do they clean them? Sure. Do they clean them after every stay? No. Like sometimes it's every 6 months. Sometimes it's once a year, and it's a massive deep clean. Most hotels, when they do it, will let you know at check-in. Hey, listen, your floor is going to be wet because we just had them done. Because what people will do is that the first thing that people do when they get in the guest room is take off their shoes.
Okay.
It's inevitable. People take off their shoes, and then they go to the window, pull the window open. And so I would say, the carpet is probably gonna be the one thing that isn't deep cleaned after every single stay that you're in, unless that hotel has that. If let's just say you're staying at a Waldorf and they have someone that has a carpet cleaner that goes into every room and cleans the carpet every time, if there's carpet in the room at all. They might be able to afford that, because you're paying $800 a night to stay there. So, but if you're staying, at a River Bend, no, don't expect to, have that done every time. I would say, but for every hotel, your touch points, your door handles, your closet handles, bathroom handles, dresser handles, your nightstands, your TV remotes, they get wiped down, disinfected, after every stay. Even down to the hangers and things like that, all that gets a good, wipe down, after every stay. Now, I say do, because I know my housekeepers do. I'm not in every single hotel.
Yeah.
So Would I expect every hotel to do that? Absolutely. Does every hotel do that? I'm not going to put my name on that because I don't
Right.
know.
And I would say that should have been done pre-COVID as well. But, I know with COVID in place, because honestly, no hotel really wants there to be like an outbreak associated with their hotel. God forbid someone stays there and they end up getting sick. It's not going to just be a one person thing. You know what I mean? Like it benefits them to make sure that they are doing what they are supposed to be doing to make sure that everybody stays, as safe as possible.
Absolutely. And which, brings me to another point is that, Hilton just announced that it's making its housekeeping services that are upon request the permanent thing. It has done away with housekeeping services every day of your stay. They will not automatically clean your room every day.
Oh.
And that is not in a response to people being lazy or anything like that. One is in a response to that if you are there for 2 nights, you probably, in a fully clean room, you get 3 to 4 towels, 2 to 3 washcloths, possibly 2 hand towels. You don't get fresh towels every day at home.
Yeah.
You should be all right for 2 days.
Exactly.
You get, there's hooks on the wall for you to hang up your stuff, racks so you can, hang up your, it's not, that's it. If you need extras, sure, we'll give it to you. Cause I know like, so, people don't feel comfortable, washing their face with the same one that they wash their ass with. So,
right.
If you need extra washcloths, sure, but that should be the only thing that you need. If you done dirtied your room in one day so bad that it has to be serviced, then I think that might be a personal problem that you're having. Now don't get me wrong, you got 6 kids with you, that's something different.
Yeah, I get it. Like there's logic, there are reasonable expectations of how something is going to stay maintained.
So, and even now, I would say like, the hospitality industry is struggling very badly, very, very badly with hiring people in general, just housekeepers, desk agents, sales, cooks, servers. It's just a huge struggle right now because people are still terrified of, going to work and catching COVID, bringing it home to their families, and so they're opting to stay home until they feel comfortable. And so, can we blame them? No. But just know that is travel bouncing back? Yes, it is. Are all the markets bounced back? No, they're not.
Yeah.
And for example, your beach properties have bounced back, or mountain properties have bounced back.
Yeah.
Like, they're in, you're seeing prices there higher than pre-COVID, like $400 a night, for, a basic room. And yeah, they've probably fully staffed by now. But, you have markets that are bouncing back that aren't fully staffed.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you've ever worked in housekeeping, it's hard, especially when people come and they trash the room. You could spend a good 15, 20 minutes just clearing the room of trash.
That always bothered me about people.
It's very hard to do it properly and, correctly, because then you could have, 25 checkouts on your board because 3 housekeepers called out. And so, of course, the guest expectation, okay, well, it's 4:00, it's check-in time. Why isn't my room ready? And of course, you got the poor agent at the desk trying to explain, we're so sorry. Cleaning procedures are a little bit longer now with COVID to make sure we hit all the touch points. And, we had this many people call out. And, you do have those guests are just like, okay, well, that's not my problem.
Yeah.
And so, again, I will say this 100 times, like, kindness and understanding go a long way towards getting something that you need. it doesn't, a need to get nasty. Like now, if you're waiting 6 hours, if you get there at 4 o'clock and by 10 o'clock your room's still not ready, then yeah, you might, lose your. But there are times that I've been at hotels and yeah, it's a 2-hour wait, unfortunately, during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like we're not doing anything, but standing there in front of us and bombarding the desk. Well, when's our room going to get clean? We don't know.
Yeah. I can't leave right here and go do it for you. You know what I mean? Like, because then who's here to check people in or check people out? Like, there's a system in place.
It's not even that. It's, we're down here,
right,
having this conversation. They're upstairs cleaning rooms. And, as soon as, a room turns ready, yeah, we're checking somebody into it. But how far down the list you are, I cannot tell you. So your room will be ready at 5:33 p.m. I don't know.
Right.
And
now, do you think that it is they're not paying people enough, or do you think it's that people aren't ready to come to work? Because I feel like a lot of the conversation we've been hearing now with the whole worker shortage is that, people don't want to go to work. But why would I go back to work if I'm making more money on unemployment? Why would I go back to work if, unemployment is doing better than what my work, like, why am I breaking my neck to work 75 or 80-hour weeks to bring home something that I'm barely getting by with, where I'm still barely getting by, but now I can also breathe. I'm not breaking my neck trying to, you know what I mean? Like, what is the conversation that they're having in terms of, upper management, in terms of being able to, because granted, we all know that the billionaires and the super rich have gotten more, have gotten richer during this whole pandemic, and the average person is just, lost a lot. That being said, I feel like there's always going to be this argument of capitalism and everybody thinks everybody else is the bad guy. But I mean, we all know that there are people making millions of dollars at the tops of these corporations and companies crying about people that are making $12 an hour, not wanting to come in to do backbreaking work for $12 a fucking hour, to have people yell at them and scream at them for 12-hour shifts for $12 an hour or even $20 an hour. It's like, where is the conversation going in terms of these industries that have been affected in the ways that they're trying to take care of the people that have been, really shit on during this time?
So, fair question. Yes, unemployment was paying people more than what companies could afford. With that being said, I tell people all the time, think of it like this, if you're looking for a job in the hospitality industry, stop and think for a second that there are hotels that went down to skeleton crew. I know hotels that cut everybody except for 3 people to run a 100+ room hotel during COVID. I know of hotels that have closed and will never reopen.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing all this because the company isn't bringing in any money. They're hemorrhaging money at this point, and they're trying to stay afloat so they don't lose everybody or they don't have to shutter. I know of, management companies that didn't even own the hotel. They just managed them for another company that lost 13, 14, 15 hotels because the company that owned them went belly up and the bank had to come in and take over. And so, it's certain, so you got to think of all the millions and billions of dollars that these companies are losing. The reserves are empty. I mean, think about it like a car. Your engine light comes on and you're like, okay, I got a good 30 more miles, or 15 more miles.
My car.
The gas station, right? I know my car. But then you're just like, in the middle, when COVID was happening, they were like, okay, I know my company, this will bounce back and whatever. And I would say a good 75, 80% of the companies found themselves stuck on the side of the road because they ran out of gas. And so, yeah, there were management AGMs taking, 50% pay cuts and things like that. And then, yes, travel started, to slowly come back. But even then, like I said, you have your markets that aren't, destination markets,
mm-hmm.
That do have, high-end hotels, full service hotels still charging $99, $119 when they were originally charging, $275, $299 rates to, break even, with the hotel. You have budgets and everything to make sure that your hotel is making money and it's not being a cost, drainer. And so, yeah, people are coming back now and, people are just like, okay, well, we need more money. And the company is just like, I don't have any money to give you. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the best I can offer you. And like, they're hoping that, people will come back and help, because we know that it's not going to last forever. We know eventually, things will come back, and normalize, and they will be offered to pay you more, later with raises and things like that. But, right now, people are getting demanding, and eventually, like with the hospitality industry, the people are realizing that, listen, I can't go into demanding stuff because they can't, it's not that they don't want to give it to me. They physically can't give it to me. There's no money. Like I said, hotels, are closing, being foreclosed on. There are companies filing for bankruptcy. Like, for example, there was a Homewood Suites in my area that I had worked at that is now an apartment complex, mm-hmm. because they didn't survive COVID. And it's just, it's heartbreaking, because, you do have people that, need jobs that can't afford them. But then you also have to look on the flip side of it, what the government is doing to make ends meet. Yeah, they're throwing, money at people to stay home, but that's not the problem. If the hotel is offering you the same pay you were making before, there shouldn't be a problem with you surviving. The problem is that prices have now gone up. Rent prices have gone up. Gas is almost at $3 a gallon in some places.
Go ahead, North Carolina.
And listen,
we've been over $3. Cut it out.
No, it was $2.89 the other day. And so, just stuff itself got more expensive.
That's cheap here.
During COVID. And, no one thought about, hey, you know what? Let's see if we can, cut some of these prices down so people can afford to live. Mm-hmm. It's like the cost of living just skyrocketed.
I think in that case, well, in this case in particular, a lot of the frustration needs to be channeled appropriately. I think that I personally would at least encourage people, like, it's not the front desk clerk's fault that somebody called out or that they are short-staffed. It's like, of course, I would want to make my job easier by having more people here to help me. So if you're frustrated about there being a wait to check into your room, or, things, amenities, I know a lot of hotels just aren't offering the same amenities. Like, I don't know. I'm curious to see what it's going to look like when we, get there this weekend. But back when we went to Vermont last November, there was renovations happening, which fine, not a big deal. Perfect timing to do it since you have fewer people on site. But there was also we couldn't get glasses. I was really frustrated because we had wine and I'm like, I got to drink wine out of a plastic cup. You know what I mean? Hi, can we just have glasses, like wine glasses? And the woman was really kind. It is like, yeah, I was pissed, but it's not her fault that she can't give me glasses. You know what I mean? Like, whatever that policy is, it's her job to follow that policy. Now, if she wanted to just be like, I got you, sis, here, you can get some glasses. Cool. Great. Thanks for looking out. But I understand that, it's fair to want to keep their staff safe, and not having as many things to, I guess, clean was part of what they decided that would be. But I would encourage people, don't take it out on the wrong people. It's the capitalism, the beast that it is, isn't the manager of the hotel's fault. You know what I mean? But that's more of a humanity issue. That's more of a, these billionaires that are making, like the billionaire hoteliers that work, that own these properties, they're not trickling that wealth down. You know what I mean? Like the top person, that's who you want to be mad at, not the person that is, walking you to your, what do you call it, your room, or, the valet or whatever. But one more question I want to ask you. Is there a difference between like boutique properties, chain properties? Is that having expectations from there? Is that similar to just not necessarily like the star conversation we had, where you're just really going to just look at them at a property by property basis, like bed and breakfast versus a hotel versus, like even an Airbnb? Like what are hotels trying to offer that Airbnbs can't at this point?
So a lot of hotels are expanding their brands. For example, there is now a lifestyle section. Both, I think, Hilton and Marriott have their own boutique hotel collections. For example, I think the Autograph collection is Marriott, and I believe there's a Tapestry and Curio collection by Hilton. And when you have those boutique hotels, what they're doing is that they're not going to be your typical Hampton Inn, Fairfield, Residence Inn, or Homewood Suites, or whatever. They're not going to be your typical run-of-the-mill hotel. Basically, what they've done is they've either taken a landmark or a historical hotel and said, listen, we want to make you a Marriott. We want to make you a Hilton, but we don't want to change anything with the hotel. We want you to keep your uniqueness. Like, for example, there's a hotel, again, back to the Foundry. The Foundry was originally 3 factories.
Oh.
And they built the hotel within the 3 factories, and then they built 2 sections in between the 3 sections to connect all the sections together.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's this, they kept the exposed brick throughout the property. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's called Benny's. And it was one of the first African-American restaurants on that main street in Asheville.
Okay. And where is this? North Carolina?
Yep, Asheville.
The Foundry? Okay. The Foundry is in Asheville.
In Asheville, yeah.
Okay.
And I think they kept the Black YMCA that was out front. Mm-hmm. And so when you have these hotels, they keep a lot of the old historic, feel with it, which is absolutely, amazing, because no one property is going to be the same as the last one.
Right.
And so, for example, the Waldorf Astoria in Amsterdam, the rule is, if you're going to have a business in central Amsterdam, you have to keep the face of all the houses the same. You can renovate behind the house, but you have to keep the face of the house. So when you're walking through this hotel, it's composed of 6 houses. They completely renovate the back, and there's a gold line that goes up from the floor all the way around to the ceiling, and it's a plaque, and it tells you you're exiting one house and entering into another house.
Well,
and it gives you a little background of each house. And so, Hilton, Marriott, they've got these, properties that kind of rival, that bed and breakfast feel. Like, for example, I think the Waldorf Astoria in Amsterdam was less than 90 rooms, but they had 3 employees per guest. And so, you kind of get that at home, feel.
That's not how I live at home, but I mean, I'd like to visit someone's home like that does live that way. My interest is piqued.
And so, and then you do have brands like AC. You have brands like AC by Marriott, Canopy by Hilton, mm-hmm. Hyatt Centric by Hyatt. And what they do, they're called the Luxury Lifestyle Collection by these brands. And what they do is that they take what's unique about the city that they're in. They take what's unique about Philadelphia, Jersey City, New Orleans, Charlotte in general, and they put it in the hotel. And so even though there is a brand standard that they have to follow, each hotel itself will be different that you stay in. One hotel will not be like the last.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I know Canopy by Hilton does an evening tasting at night. And it's a local alcoholic beverage. It's complimentary from 5 until 6. And it showcases the city or something local to that neighborhood. They have Canopy bikes that you can rent out, bike around, town. And so, they have these little touch points to make it about the city that you're in. And so, yeah, is it gonna be the same product, as an Airbnb? No. Would I probably ever stay in an Airbnb? No, because working in the hotel industry, you get people that had booked an Airbnb and they're just like, this is not like the pictures. It was disgustingly dirty. I cannot stay here. We need a place to crash for the night.
I've also had that. I've had that happen with hotels as well.
Yes.
Like
yes.
I've had, I know at least the one in Qatar, the service was chef's kiss. I mean, room service, the food was good. Staff was wild polite, except for the lady at the front desk when I first got there. I didn't like her. But everybody else, a fucking dream. Incredible. But the room, I'm seeing place, I'm like, so this whole wall, we just didn't do any of the corners or the ledges copy. Okay. So, that part of the bathroom, you just didn't see. Got it. Okay. So like, I'll notice shit like that or whatever, but it's like, so stuff like that didn't match the pictures. Like when I'm looking at the pictures and I'm seeing like, I'm reading some of the reviews and the descriptions, I'm like, y'all left that out. I don't know how I ended up with the one room that you missed, but yeah, so in defense of Airbnbs, because I stand for Airbnbs, I've had it go, both ways, but I also absolutely have heard horror stories about, Airbnb stays, fights happening outside, and I can't stay here. I'm going to have to contact the host and be like, hey sis, your block is hot. I'm leaving. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. So I get it. It works. It's all about preference. It's all about preference. What is your jam? What is your flow? You kind of got to go with it for what it is and take each for what it is. So as a person that works in hospitality, what would you want someone coming into a property to know? From front staff, back staff, valet, housekeeping, management, what are some like tips that you can just give visitors to your properties to just kind of make their stay go smoothly, to help you guys help them out more?
Patience. Even before COVID, patience. Like we cannot scream that enough. Like, even when I was with Hilton, we had, the Make It Right program. If there's anything, wrong with the stay, let us know. And, we'll make it right. Or, and the thing is that you have to let us know. Telling us that checkout doesn't help you because you didn't give the chance to fix it. If you, like, for example, if you're trying to go to bed and, there's a raging party in the room next door to you, don't check out in the morning at 9:00 in the morning talking about, I want my money back because I couldn't get any sleep when you didn't tell us that it's like, you decided to lay there all night long and listen to this party. If, somebody messes up, we're human. People mess up all the time. And, if that person, it might be their third day. And if we might be training them.
Yeah.
Most of the time we can fix it. I would say 98% of the problems that you have at a hotel, we can probably fix it. I've been in very rare situations to where we just can't help you. And it's very rare, very few in between. But, you coming down stairs hot as a whistle because your room didn't get serviced, or, the power went out, stuff that's, even minor to major, it's not the right way to come down. Just like, hey, by the way, my room didn't get service. Is there anyone here that could service it real quick for me? And the answer is no. You're just like, okay, well, can I make sure they get service tomorrow? And we'd be like, sure. And, most of the time we'd be like, okay, well, we're sorry that they didn't get service. Is there anything that we can do for you, for that inconvenience? And, but giving us that chance. Now, if you don't requested it 2 days in a row and it's still to get service, then yeah, that's a bigger issue.
Got it.
But, a lot of times, a lot of it is just training, it's patience. Is like I said, even down to patience if the fire alarm goes off.
Mm-hmm.
It's very rare that the fire alarm goes off just because it's feeling funky that night and just decides to go off. Somebody triggered an alarm to go off. And like I even explained to one guest, I was just like, well, sir, I understand that you're upset that the fire alarm, and we're sorry about that. And I was just like, it detected smoke in the building and it told everyone to get out of the building because there was smoke in the building.
Mm-hmm.
The fire alarm system worked as it was supposed to.
Correct.
And I said,
mad at that.
And so we really can't be mad at that. And I said, but sir, I was like, if you want to indulge me for a minute, take it on the flip side. What if it didn't go off?
Right.
What if it actually failed? And there was a fire and we were just banging on your door to get out of the hotel because the alarm failed. You would probably be equally as mad.
Correct. Reason.
And so I was just like, so sir, I was just like, is it unfortunate? Yes, but it's a life safety measure.
Mm-hmm.
And for the love of the Lord, if the fire alarm goes off, don't call us asking if it's real.
Yeah.
Please don't. Just get out of the hotel. And like I said, power goes out. It's not like we just turn the power off to the hotel.
Like we went to bed, so you got to go to bed.
It's not like we did that for some giggles. We got work we got to do too. We all sit here in the dark.
Yeah.
No, we don't have. We all sit here together. We gonna listen. We gonna light this little candle and we can kumbaya all day long.
Together.
Doing
or
nothing.
You can go outside and entertain yourself elsewhere because it's not like, if the whole city ain't go down, go find someplace else to go where there's power. It doesn't have to be here.
Like this lady screamed at me because the power went out. And then she called corporate. Corporate tried to call the hotel and then went back to her and said, we can't get in contact with the hotel. Can you put the agent on the phone? So she puts me on the phone and she goes, yeah, there seems to be issues with the phone. I was just like, there's no power. Like
how it works.
It's not gonna work because there's no power. And she goes, well, the guest really is unhappy. I said, ma'am, if this guest would like to depart the hotel, we will let the guest leave.
Mm-hmm.
We won't charge her at all. But unfortunately, I cannot assist her with the finding other accommodations because I don't have power.
Right. I think corporate would get that. The fuck.
And so, and I said, a lot of stuff, like I said, take it with a grain of salt. There's no bike in the back that we can pedal and, and get the power back on. Do we want there to be power? Yes, we do. But now, any other situation, you stuck in the elevator? Yeah. Somebody's going to hear me.
Yeah.
I get stuck up. Is it anyone's fault? No. But, that's different.
Well, I mean, technically it could be that they didn't service it when they should have. I mean, shit goes wrong because people don't do their jobs, but then also shit goes wrong because shit goes wrong. Not everything is, an attack on your safety. And, it's like, damn, yeah, I wish that wouldn't have happened to you either. Like, I really wish that we could have not had this happen because I absolutely don't want to hear you, in front of me complaining, or I don't want to have to file a report because I had to call an ambulance because you hurt yourself coming down the stairs because the power went out and you couldn't see where you were going, or you know what I mean? It's just like, bro, I don't want to do the paperwork.
I really don't.
You know what I mean? I don't want you to get hurt. Yeah, I mean, now if you're being nasty to me and God,
and even then,
bro, Get hurt. I don't give a fuck because
really wish the best for
I'm
you.
not even
Like,
a good person.
I was at a hotel that started on the 5th floor. And we had two elevators. We had one elevator take you from the ground floor to the 5th floor to the lobby, and another set that take you from 5 to 15, whatever floor you're on. Mm-hmm. Both of those elevators had went down. Like one had an electrical issue, and the other decided to go into earthquake mode. It was the weirdest thing at the same time. So both elevators were down. We called the technicians out. They were on the way, but in the meantime, we had people that needed to, get out of the building. And so it was all
hands luggage.
We're carrying luggage up the stairs for the guests. And then this lady was on the top floor, and let me have it all the way up the stairs. And I set her bags in front of her door. I said, ma'am, no disrespect. I said, but if you think that for 1 second, that if any of us knew that both elevators were going to fail today,
we would have came to work. Bitch, I'd have stayed home for this.
I guarantee you, I said, man, I am so sorry.
I didn't want to carry all your shit up 15 flights and hear you complain. You know what I mean? It's like, I didn't want this to happen. I don't want this for you. I want you to have a good trip so that you can leave here happy and I don't got no smoke. I don't want to have to, put out fires all day.
Everyone, the goal for every hotel is for you to have a good stay. And, we want you to be empathetic when we're trying to, if there's a service problem, for you to, see that we're trying to help you.
Yeah.
Fix it. Fix a problem, make sure that you're happy with the fix, make sure we compensate you, make sure you're happy with the compensation. But, we're still going to smile at you.
Those of y'all that are doing your job well. We ain't gonna sit here in front like everybody does their job well either. There's some of y'all just should not be in customer service. Like, I get not always being in a good mood. I don't ever need you to be in a good mood. I don't ever need you to love what you do, but I also need you not to disrespect me. I also need you not to be nasty. You know what I mean? Like, there is a fine line. I ain't gonna sit here and say that some people just don't do their jobs well. They don't. But I think it would be fair to then say, well, is there someone else that can help me?
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. Find somebody else.
And now there's also a certain level of, like, once you reach that top person, people screaming about, oh, I want somebody else. It's like, there is nobody else. There's me.
Yeah.
And so I had to jump in between a few guests. This is like, okay, what we're not going to do is disrespect my agent like that.
Yeah.
I understand what you wanted, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. And this is how we're working to compensate with you. Mm-hmm. And, we even had to email a few guests. It's like, listen, unfortunately, we cannot have you back as a guest. And just because either the situation was so dire, like I had a lady that wanted her thermostat at 85 degrees every day. And she said one property was able to override the safety mechanism in the unit to make her comfortable.
Okay.
We weren't going to do that. Our max was 80 degrees for our rooms, for the thermostat in the rooms. Anything above it would break the unit. And every time she would stay, she would leave a negative review. It would be a whole issue. And eventually, like, we had to email her back and just like, listen, ma'am, we are so sorry, but unfortunately, we cannot offer a stay to make you happy. So unfortunately, we can no longer have you back as a guest. We've had people get bent out of shape, cussed at our agent. I had people call me the N-word. And and at that point, you're just like, okay, well, unfortunately, we can no longer have you. We're sorry. We appreciate your loyalty, with the brand, whatever. But unfortunately, we can no longer have you as a guest. And, you have those rough conversations, with those guests. But there are people that, you have agents that, and I'm the type of manager that I will fall on my own sword. Yeah, no. My agent could have definitely handled that better.
Right. Right.
that occurred. Again, what can I do to make you happy?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're still coming at me at 100, then, I'm still going to stand there and going to listen to you. And, would I like you to calm down? Absolutely. Do I understand frustration? Absolutely. But it's a certain level of respect.
I never understood why people felt like, no, I get it. Because there's that whole theory that the squeaky wheel gets the oil, but why not just be the quiet wheel first? Why not try that? Yeah. I find that I generally get my way because I'm mad nice.
Yeah. Like
I'm also reasonable. Ask nicely. Smile. Start with a fucking hello. How about that? Hey, morning. How are you?
And we know the scammers when we see them. But for example, there'll be somebody that, for example, we might be sold out. And a guest wants to extend their room. And we're like, well, unfortunately, sir, we don't have any more rooms left. We're sold out for the evening. Unfortunately, we can't extend your reservation. And then now all of a sudden there's a million issues with the room. My back hurts. It was too noisy. I didn't get housekeeping. And it's just a million different things. And you're sitting there on the phone. You're like, really?
You don't say.
You don't say. And so, but then again, being in our positions, you listen and you empathize and just like, unfortunately, I still don't have a room for you.
Right.
I'm sorry. Like I don't. There's no more.
Yeah, you now being pissed about how your room went isn't now going to let you stay in it longer. Like, where's the?
I literally
train of logic there.
Sir, if you were Jesus, you sleep in the barn. There's no more. I have no more rooms to give you. Everyone's checked in. We have what we call, we're fully committed, heads in beds. And I said, I am so sorry. I said, but what I always tell my staff to do is one very special thing. Get them in a room somewhere else. Don't let them walk out the door trying to find other accommodations elsewhere. Because to me, that's like kicking somebody else out in the rain saying, good luck, see you later.
Yeah, that's actually really nice.
Yeah, call around to other properties. Because at this point, we're not going to take in any more reservations. So we ain't got to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
What you can do is at least get a property on the phone and be like, hey, do you have any rooms? You're showing rooms online. Is this true or not? And they'll say, yeah, we've got one. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to hand you to the guest.
Okay.
And then so they can confirm with you before they walk out of my door that they have a place to go now.
Yeah.
Confirmed reservation somewhere.
Okay. So questions, so we could wrap this up. What would you suggest that, like, how do you suggest people go about securing what they want when it comes to like hotels? Like, what is the best way to go? Like, I know people say go to the actual website for the property, but it's like, well, if I'm saving $20 by going through Expedia, fuck your website, bro. I'm booking through Expedia. Now, I get that you may not be able to find my reservation, but I called you and I confirmed that it was there prior to getting there. You see that I have whatever. Like, how do you move differently now that you've been in hospitality? What do you do differently now versus before you worked in the hospitality industry? Like, what are some of the things that you do differently that you could suggest that, travelers consider so that they can get the most out of their stays?
So I would say, for example, you being a traveler yourself, you might not always go somewhere where you can be loyal to one company. There might not always be a Marriott. There might not always be a Hilton. So, booking on, Expedia, Hotwire definitely works.
Right.
Works for you.
Right.
For me, I learned I try to travel to places to where there is that brand, because then I can gain status. I earn that loyalty with that company. My preferences are normally honored. But, if I do venture out, if I do go to a remote place, in Asia, in South Africa or somewhere like that, then yeah, stick to your third parties because they're going to be able to list everything that's there. But book what you want. If you are going to propose to your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. If you're going to, for your 5-year anniversary somewhere, if you know that you're going to need more space because you're working, book what you want. Yeah. Don't book a standard room, request for an upgrade, and then if we don't have it available, be mad that we don't have it available. Like, I mean, I've had people book a king room and show up with 6 kids talking about, well, I put a request in there for a double queen. She's like, okay, but you booked a king.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what
for upgrades. Like, if somebody upgrades, do you pay for an upgrade?
So if you're requesting an upgrade, if you don't want to pay for it, just know it's by choice. You might not get it. Think of it like an airplane, an airline. You might do a 500-mile upgrade or whatever. And, you get to the airport and you look at the board and there's, 14 people ahead of you for an upgrade standby list. You might not get it. I mean, I've had to explain to a couple of our top tier members, yes, I understand that you're our highest ranking tier and I am very sorry I don't have an upgrade for you. And I had to break it down for them. Listen, I only had 3 upgrades today and I got 12 of you guys checking in.
Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, I can't give an upgrade to everybody. So my thing is,
if you wanted the suite, you should have booked the suite.
Book the suite.
Why pay for a standard and expect a suite? But is that possible?
It is. It is absolutely possible that you can get upgraded
for free.
Yes.
All I do is ask.
If you have that loyalty with that company.
See, that's the catch. That's what I was going. Because then I was going to say, is it really worth it to be loyal? Because I mean, the way I see it is, like, to your point, there really aren't Marriotts anywhere. Or if there is, if I liked Ramada's, what's to say that Ramada is going to be the best option in this area?
Exactly.
The fucking Hilton might be the best option in the place that I'm going or whatever. Or, I'm not staying city center. I'm staying in the outskirts because there's shit that's outside of the main city that I want to do, whatever. And your hotel's not there. So for me, I don't travel for business.
Right.
The way it's like, okay, every major city that I go to is going to have, this chain. So in those instances, I can see it absolutely making sense that you would stay with the same place. Same thing for me when I travel, like when I fly, price matters. So just being committed to Delta, United, JetBlue, or whatever doesn't really work for me because y'all charging $75 more than shorty over here, or they have a better flight pattern. Like, I can get a better layover going places. So for me, it doesn't benefit to, have those types of loyalties outside of reaping the point system and those upgrade options like you mentioned. But for people that are committed to, like you were saying, they hold like your preferences. Like, what is that? Like, you want a corner room or you always want a view? Like, what is?
So you can list when you enroll in Marriott's Bonvoy program or Hilton Honors program, you can set your preferences. King bed, away from the elevator, away from ice machine, high floor, non-connecting room. I need an ADA room. You can set your preferences to where the hotel can be like, okay, he wants a high floor away from the elevator, ice machine. This room should be okay to ensure that he has a good stay.
Okay,
he wants away from the elevator, from an ice machine. He's looking for a quiet room. Let me not put him in a connecting room. Unfortunately, when we do get third-party reservations, sometimes we don't get all those preferences.
Got it.
Unfortunately, you might find yourself on the second floor in front of the elevator and the gym and everything else because we don't know what you like.
Yeah.
We can't track how many times you've been to our property. We don't know, how many times you stayed at a Hilton or Marriott or a Ramada, IHG, wherever, or Holiday Inn. We don't know. We just don't know.
Right.
Like, when you have that loyalty program, we can break down, okay, you've been at 7 Hampton Inns, you've been with our property 4 times, but you stayed at 300 different Hiltons. You might not. So clearly, Hampton is not your preference of hotel, but you're loyal to Hilton. So we can see all that here. But like I said, in some instances, yeah, third party it out. You know, if your chain isn't there
Mm-hmm.
and you have to use a third party, read the terms and conditions. Greatly, unfortunately, I've had that conversation with guests that are just like, oh, I need to cancel. I'm just like, okay, but I can't cancel your reservation.
Yeah, we didn't make it.
We didn't. And I was just like, we don't have any control over that. And unfortunately, you're past the cancellation deadline. So it's going to be a charge. And so, you know, it's like a rock and a hard place. Like, yeah, if you're traveling abroad and you're not traveling to a major city destination to where there isn't a hill, and you might have to book with Marriott at one point,
Mm-hmm.
I would say have at least the base tier with them. Um, at least that'll get you something. But you might have to Airbnb it out. You know, let's just take Thailand, for example. You know, there's not a ton of hotels in Thailand, branded hotels
Mm-hmm.
in Thailand. Like, you know, if you go to Bangkok, I think there's maybe like 7, 8 Hilton branded, maybe 8 to 10 Marriott branded, you know, hotels in Thailand, but they're all in the city.
Okay.
Venture out, yeah, you might not find what
Yeah.
you look for. And you might have to Airbnb it or Expedia it out to find that, you know, bed and breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Boutique hotel,
hotel.
one-off chain, or even consider that it may be a chain property, but in a different country or region that you're not familiar with. Like it can be that this is their Marriott of the region, or you know, like different locales call for, you know, different expectations.
Mhm.
And I think also that's also fair to remember, if you are staying in a developing nation, don't expect that your 3-star is always going to be the same as a 3-star here. You know what I mean? It's just like, or a 4-star, vice versa, whatever. Um, you're going to have basics like, you know, toilet paper in the bathroom, or you'll have, you know, basics like, you know, of course you're going to have shower and shit like that. But then when you go outside and you explore the area, it's fair to also not see the same thing. So keep your, know
Expectation.
what you're getting into. You know what I mean? Gauge it and don't say that, oh, well, my hotel had toilet paper. Why don't the bathrooms here have toilet paper? Well, because that's just not the norm here. It's that, and that I will say has been one of the cheat codes that I've learned, to always have tissue with me. I always keep napkins from concession stands and all of that shit, because the last thing you want to do is to be stuck someplace where there is no fucking bathroom.
Right.
I mean, there's no tissue, because it's just not culturally normal for everybody.
And can you earn status with Expedia, hotels.com?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there's points. It's a point system that they've
Hell
got
yeah.
too. And so, yeah, if it works for you, great. Sometimes people get the travel credit cards and it might work, you know, for them. I bought my brand's credit card because it works for me.
Right.
But so what works for me might not work for you. And that's okay. And but you also, like I said, you can't walk in and like if I'm checking in the guest, if he gets a complimentary upgrade, you know, don't get bent out of shape if you don't get a complimentary upgrade. Because again, we have all his preferences. We don't know all your preferences. We don't know how many times you've been here. We don't know anything about you.
We don't know you.
You just here to check in and stay with us. And we're gonna do our best to give you a great stay. And like even back down to the airlines, like they can track your status.
Mm-hmm.
And you get miles and stuff. Like I'm an American person because I'm in Charlotte. It's an American. But and everything and I've done this several times. Every other airline flying out of Charlotte is more expensive, which is why I always stay with American.
Okay.
And I get more direct flights out of Charlotte than I do with any other airline. Like for example, Southwest, I most likely have to connect in Baltimore. Delta, I most likely have to connect in Atlanta.
Gotcha.
You know, JetBlue, I probably connect in Boston. Like it's very, I get more direct flights. It's normally cheaper than booking with anybody else because it's a hub. And so, but then do I still check other airlines? Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Right.
In that one off chance that it happens to be cheaper. Now, even if it is cheaper, if it's $20 cheaper, yeah, I still might book with American because that's where my status is. That's where my miles are that I'm saving up. I ain't got money to go to the Maldives.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I ain't got it. I will never have it. And that's all right. But I know eventually I will have enough miles to where I ain't got
there you go.
Go there. And I already got my points. I got my hotel picked out. I got enough points for a week stay in a nice little villa on the water. I just can't get there. And so for me, sticking with one airline is more, that's the only real benefit that I've got. But sticking with one airline, you know, the service is good and things like that. I know people in Charlotte that are just like, American's trash. And I'm a Delta person all the way. It's all about preference. My sister lives and dies by Southwest. I don't know how, but I'm not a Southwest person. I unfortunately had 2 bad experiences with Southwest. And, you know, are they a bad airline? Probably not. But because I had those 2 not so really good experiences, I'm not running to
those gates. Yeah.
To book with Southwest. And so, you know, and we tell people all the time, people will hand us a Marriott credit card or a Hilton credit card. And they're just like, oh, it's just like, listen, if you have found somewhere, a brand that you like, we're not going to hate you for it. We're glad that you found somewhere that you like. Do we wish that you were with us? Sure. But as long as you're happy where you're at, we're not going to be mad that you're happy. That's asinine. That's crazy. And so, but we're not going to be out here shaming one brand over the other because, oh, well, they don't do this, but we do this. It's crazy.
So where can people find you? If someone has a hotel question and, you know, I'm an Airbnb girl and they wanted to just slide something your way and they just wanted your opinion on something, where can people find you?
I mean, I'm online. I'm on Facebook and stuff. So, or they can ask you and you can ask me. You know,
we can do that.
We were always here. So, but as always, like I said, you know, really when you're in hotels, just sit and think. You know, don't go to a downtown property and then be mad you have to pay for parking. You know you're going to have to pay for parking. You know the agent, yes, is it $20 a night to park? Then just know that it's not like the agent just made it up in their head like, oh yeah, no, you know, just for you, $20. Everybody else gets $10, but for you, $20. Yeah. It's on the hotel website. Go to the hotel website. If on Expedia website, everyone's got the price on there.
Yeah.
You know, there is no free breakfast at, you know, your full service hotels. You know, it's just not there. It will never be there.
So if I see free breakfast, I'm not staying at a top tier property.
You could be, and it might be a package.
Okay.
But might be paying a premium for a free breakfast.
I'd rather just pay for breakfast.
Me too. But you know, that's right. But like, but like I said, like, you know, again, a Fairfield and Denver, downtown Denver, yeah, you're gonna pay for parking.
Yeah.
Everywhere's gonna pay for parking in downtown.
So if you guys have any other questions, slide through travelandshippodcast.com. Shoot me an email. You can DM me everything, any point of contact that you want to find me on, travelandshippodcast.com. It's all there at the top of the page. Click on whatever mode you want to use. And I will absolutely forward your question on and I will get that answered. And I love you. Thank you for chatting with me.
You're welcome. Love you too, girl.
All right, y'all. I'll see you guys next week. And I appreciate you for coming on by. Bye, y'all.